Welcome to the Joseph Evaldi Podcast. On tonight's podcast, I discuss about adversity. How do we deal with adversity through what we go through? I will discuss a little bit about my story, about where I came from, what I actually have done to overcome my adversity. Now, many might not know the story, many might think I'm just a writer, but there's more to the story than meets the eye. And I will discuss about that in the podcast. But first, let me discuss a little bit about what I've been working on lately. First order of business, I'm working on writing another book. And it is something that I did 20 years ago, called The Passage of Joe. It will be The Passage of Joe, the memoirs of junior year of high school. And I didn't realize it, but a lot has changed since then, which I will discuss on this podcast. Another order of business that I want to discuss is my new or old blog. Can be found at Joseph Evaldi, www.josephevaldi.net, and that is a WordPress blog that I am now doing, which I released an update today on what I'll work on during the month. Now, I start the podcast. Adversity. How do we deal with adversity? First, I'm going to discuss a little story about myself and where I come from. My background, just so you know. Now, my road to get to where I am right now was not an easy road. It was a long, hard road, and I walked it. But I'm at where I'm at right now. In the beginning, in grammar school, I wasn't the popular kid. I was the kid that got picked on a lot. That carried on through high school. I overcame a challenge, and I said I would not be laughed at. But in a way, I could have been. Because people wanted me to act as a joke, but never understood what was actually going on inside of me. The internal battle, which was 20 years ago or even before. But I had a vision that said I was going to be on top of that class at the end of the year, or at the end of graduation, which somehow I was voted most popular, but story goes beyond that, because I don't think I was popular. I think I had how many I had a lot of stress, a lot of, I don't think I was a cool kid. I tried to be, but I wasn't. And the thing is, at that time, I wanted to be a writer. So I first started writing on a notepad something called The Passage of Joe, which I passed out to people in school, not knowing that whatever I was writing would have probably embarrassed me, but I did it anyway. This was my beginning of my writing life. Graduated school, had another set of challenges ahead of me. Dealing with a group that I used to hang out with, where basically the main competition was going after the one of a few girls that were in the group, and there weren't that many. It was mostly old guys. And when you have old guys in a group and only one or a few girls, the main people always get the women. And they put everything aside until they get whatever they want. Now some people, they're going to act on their own because it's for survival. But those are some challenges I went through, because every time I tried to get up or hook up with a chick or something like that, or it didn't work out for me. And I was always outshadowed. So that started another set of problems for me. And when you're dealing with friends who at that time didn't see your best interests, even though they thought you thought they had your best interests in mind, you couldn't tell who to trust and who not to trust. So it led to other problems. It led to a problem even in when I was 21 years old. I developed an illness in mental health, where I had my first few episodes. And for me to have a vision of a writer, I went to school, I went through the motions, I had what would be a nervous breakdown, even though I don't realize how that happened, but it happened. I was doing too much then, going to school, working, internship, and I burnt out. And this is what happens to a lot of students that age, and how illnesses start. So my worries wasn't who I could be with. When I was 21 years old, I basically lost my mind because I became a zombie, and only thing I could think about and obsess about was how much medication I was on. And this is not a publicity saying medication is bad, because some medication is good, but the medication I was on, one of them was lithium, and a lot of bad things about the drug were toxic. But that devastated me. I was knocked out for a while, and then eventually I faced some abuses by friends. And I won't go into detail about that, and I also won't go into detail about the two addictions I had, because my life was so devastated at the time that I lost hope about myself, and I lost hope about life, that turned me into these addictions. And then, with all those adversities, I knew giving up wasn't an option. I had to fight them. And more on fighting them after the break.
You are probably wondering why I'm naming the title of this book, Going Broke. Well, this book is about going broke, and I will show you techniques of how to go broke. You may ask, why do I want to know how to go broke? I am already broke. I want to learn how to make money. I first want to discuss what this book is not. It won't give you statistics and data of how much people are poor and are in debt. But it will discuss why people are in debt and why I'm in debt. First part of the book will be about credit card debt. Second part of the book will be about addictions. The third part of this book will be about the mistakes of keeping up with the Joneses. Fourth, I will discuss about poor investments. If you are in debt, you can reinforce yourself of these mistakes and try to start making plans about how to get out of your situation. This book in the series will start you on that path. So good luck on your journey and learn about our story, the American story of going broke.
Learning from my experiences, I wrote that book, Going Broke, How to Learn from Your Financial Mistakes. It is available in audio for ACX or Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. It is available in paperback and also Amazon Kindle. And also, it is available on the Nook. Back to the podcast. Adversity. I discussed a little bit about my adversity, and some of them were financial too, because I amassed a major credit card debt amongst the problems. How did I overcome this? I worked. I basically worked and did nothing but rest for one whole year. That's 2008. Then 2009, 2008, when the bankers at Wall Street were doing their thing with the corruption, I was getting angry at the world, even though I might have been as bad, even with the addictions, but not as bad as what they did with the money. But, or at least I felt as bad. But